Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel of Applied Forensic Research Sciences. Here we are with a new video on the topic of serial killer. In this video, we are going to gain some information on biggest, youngest and the first serial killer with the pros and the cons of the capital punishment. Moving into the topic, first of all, what is serial killer? According to traditional definitions, a serial killer is someone who kills 3 or more people in a span of more than a month with a cooling off interval in between each murder. Now, what a cooling period is. Cooling off period is important because it constitutes a timeout from murder for a serial killer. During the cooling off period between murders, a serial killer disappears from the public eye and resumes his or her seemingly normal routine and life. The killings must be distinct incidents for a serial murderer, and they are frequently motivated by a psychological high or pleasure. Serial killers sometimes lack empathy and shame and frequently develop egocentric personalities. Because of these traits, some serial killers are classified as psychopaths. The mask of sanity is a technique used by serial killer to disguise their underlying psychopathic inclinations and make them seem normal, even endearing. So, how many serial killers does India have? There are over 80 serial killers in India, and the biggest psycho killer in India is M. Shankar, who is often known as Psycho Shankar because he is a serial murderer who carried out a string of rapes and killings between the year of 2008 and 2011. He conducted rape in the southern part of the country, India, around Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh, and have engaged in over 30 rape, murder, and robbery incidents. He started committing crime in the year of 2008, and his first arrest warrant come in the year of 2009. He would abduct and rape sex worker from the vicinity of dhabas, and also he made some friends with other women who he then led to a field where he raped. In addition, if in any case any lady who resisted would be killed by a machete, which is an instrument that resembles a giant knife. M. Shankar also raped a police constable of 39-year-old whose name was M. Jaimani, and before she was killed, she was repeatedly abducted and sexually assaulted. Furthermore, Jai Shankar and his accomplice P. Mohan Selvam were found not guilty of the murder of K. Thangamal Ponnaya, a 50-year-old lady, in September 2009, despite the fact that there was inadequate evidence which delayed the inquiry and resulted in the passage of time in Tamil Nadu's Chennai, Dharamapuri, Hosur, as well as Karnataka's Bangalore rural, Hiriyur, Kadur, and Tumkur. Shankar was on a trial in more than 20 instances. Now, it was all about the biggest serial killer in the India. Now, moving to the next, who is the youngest serial killer in India? On the list of the top serial killers in India, Amardeep Sada is the youngest murderer. He is an 8-year-old child who admitted to killing 3 newborns and did it without any fear or guilt. Additionally, he is the world's youngest serial murderer. Amardeep Sada was born in 1998 in the Bihar district, and his father worked as a worker. Later, his family moved to the Bihar hamlet of Musahari. He came from a low-income household at birth. He murdered 3 kids between 2006 and 2007. When he was 7 years old, he committed his first crime or murder. He would drag these kids out onto a barren field and bash them with bricks until they died. Then he would bury the remains of these kids behind heaps of dried grasses and leaves. Now, public disclosure of information on Amardeep Sada's trial, detention, or conviction was minimal. Amardeep, however, could not be given a life sentence as an 8-year-old since Indian law does not contain any such clauses. The maximum punishment that could have been given to this young serial killer was 3 years in a juvenile institution. According to a source, he changed his name to Samarjit to conceal his identity and to maintain his privacy. Amardeep Sada was brought to a juvenile home or remand home, where he is believed to have remained until he became 18-year-old, rather than being prosecuted under Section 300 or Section 302. This all because he was just a juvenile. Now, who was the first woman serial killer in India? Malika, a notorious serial murderer who went by the name D. Kempamama, what was also known as Cyanide Malika, is a risky individual who is suspected of killing several women. She is also regarded as India's first female serial murderer. The names Lakshmi, Jayama, Sabitrama, and Shivamogga were only few of her nicknames. Malika was born in 1970, is well known for using cyanide poisoning to murder female temple worshippers. The year 1999 through 2007 saw her in action. She is from the Karnataka province Kagalipura. In 1998, Malika's husband, a tailor by trade, left her, and her cheat fund firm incurred significant losses shortly after her husband abandoned her and kicked her out of the house. She had 3 kids and worked various jobs to make ends meet and support his family. She would also commit valuable theft from the home where she performed domestic labor. After each murder, Cyanide Malika Kempamama would change her identity, which led to her arrest, prosecution, and trial. In 2001, the police detained her for the first time in Bidadi, a town in Bangalore. Later, in 2008, she admitted to all of the crimes when questioned. However, contrary to what the police said, her primary motivation was robbery rather than murder. Malika received a death sentence in 2010 for the murder of Muniyamma, one of her victims, after being found guilty of other killings and separate trial. She was also given a second death sentence in 2012 for killing Nagavani, another victim. However, because there was only circumstantial evidence, this punishment was ultimately commuted to life in prison. In actuality, she received life in prison instead of all of her death sentences. Now, what are the pros of the death penalty? The death penalty is less expensive than a life sentence. The an eye for an eye or retributive justice system gives the victim justice, supports the bereaved family, and ensures that no crime of this awful type will ever be committed again. It discourages other offenders from committing crimes. It is held that the penalty meted out to a guilty mind must be proportionate to the gravity of the offense. Given the seriousness of crimes like murder and rape, the death sentence may be applied. Now, if there are pros for something, there must be the cons. So, the cons of the death penalty are: it was a flagrant breach of the right to life guaranteed by Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, since it granted the government the authority to take a human life. There is no hard evidence that the death sentence deters crime. By concentrating its efforts on those who lack financial support, it exacerbates social unfairness. The perpetrator may go to any length to silence the victim's voice in protest of the horrors, which might encourage others to perpetrate additional crimes. Human rights advocates claim it is cruel and harsh. There is no fair and reasonable rule that controls the execution of the death row inmates. This is all about the topic serial killer. We hope that you have learned something from this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.